is. It's also convenient that I get to ask you, so I could just pick the opposite of whatever you say. It helps. All right, folks, let's jump straight in. It is map number 1 here in ESL Impact South America. Week number 6. We edge ever closer to the end of this season. Kicking off map 1 here, it's Vertigo, MIBR's pick. Usually FURIA's ban, but not today.
Yeah, this is not a map that they played in that recent 5-mapper series, and perhaps that has something to do with why they opted for this. Maybe they were lacking confidence after these stronger victories that MIBR had on some of those maps in that series. We shall see. We, of course, start with the pistol. And Isa is not going to have that help from Gabs that maybe she was hoping for. Not in time anyway. And now Gabs is definitely on an island. There will be some flashes, but she runs out the bullets, pulls out the knife. Won't be enough. Lulitens and the rest of them now. 3 remaining for FURIA. Will pull some players down and tie the numbers up. Bombs not planted just yet, which will allow the CTs to get closer. You can see there is some creeping going on the radar. So the numbers are a bit off, so I'm not exactly sure who it is, but now it's just down to Car coming in with the Julies from the back. 1 versus 2 as Kiza was dropped. Bomb still not planted, and they're going for that full rotation, but Kara spotted. She is very close indeed, and this is going to get very uncertain. Catches the bomb carrier, and now we're down to the 1v1. 47 seconds. She's got good angles and 2 pistols. Oh, she is lighting Babs up down to 20 HP. It's a long reload, but she can do it safely. Might be about that next bullet then. Babs needs the headshot at this point, especially with the Glock. 32 seconds. She's got the time to offer up some different angles, and it might just be about looking in the right place at the right time for either player. As you can see, Cars got to look all over the shop now. Babs doesn't know 100%, but she's going to see the Julies, and that headshot's going to come in for free. That was a nervous end to the round for MIBR, but they will win the pistol.
That was a great rotation there from Babs as well. The fact that she opts to go all the way around. I mean, the angle that has to be held there is so incredibly difficult to have the advantage, right? And so obviously instantly caught out and taken down. I do love that Lexi is the one that opens things up here with the first kill. You know, substitute coming in, showing what she's made of, and she's going to give them that player advantage and start to open things up quite nicely. The call to rotate, I don't hate it. I think that in that situation, it could, you know, it did work out, but it could also have gone very badly.
5.7 is a very dangerous pistol. A few flashes here for FURIA. CSGO would often see those smoke grenades to try and buy time, put them into a weaker position, but it seems that the weaponry will do just that for FURIA. 5-on-3 now. Made 2. MIBR falling to pieces. Look at that swing from FURIA. Look at the response there. Safety in numbers, swinging together, leaving Gabby in a horrible position. She again needs to try and just drop as many players as she can. Otherwise, it's a great bonus for the CTs. You can keep these players alive. Now, with 12 HP, perhaps her best option here is to try and hold on to this Galil. Such a long time to save, though. 1 versus 4, a complete disaster for MIBR. Awkward start for Homicide Face herself.
Homicide Face.
Yeah. When she's focused, she just looks like she, you know, she wants to slaughter people. She has got the bomb.
Resting Homicide Face.
So is she looking for that bonus money? Maybe to help force back afterwards. If she doesn't get a bomb plant here, what will the option be? Will it be just a hero rifle and ecoing players? Many questions to be answered soon. Somehow she survives holding on to that Gilil, so props to that. That was a very dire round for MIBR.
That was a pretty cheeky and somewhat risky force from FURIA, but the way that they play it is... I think that part of it is because MIBR are not necessarily expecting them to force so heavily into that round. But also they hold some really like cheeky positions as well. Kind of these boosted up positions that you're not necessarily checking for, and instantly you've got yourself like a 2-player advantage. And then from there, you just kind of steamroll through the rest of the round. So it's a really important one for them to win, and it's unfortunate for MIBR because their economy is now a disaster area.
I've gone for the full force then. This point, a few smoke grenades. And no flashes for these Tech-9s to get into position, so I imagine it will be a wide swing where Gabby's concerned. You might see a pistol try to make space for her to swing in behind. These Tech-9s can also be quite dangerous if you can get close enough. Without any flashes, that will be difficult. Gabby boosted up then. Danny will be dropped eventually as they try to take a little more position. 3 remaining for MIBR. Gabby down to 36 HP. The only one with a helmet. The others do have Kevlar. But again, running into the Gatling gun. Like the end of that Last Samurai film where Tom Cruise was somehow a Japanese samurai. Mid one. Ooh. Lining up in all the worst ways. And Izza will be the Gatling gun in this round. Minimal damage done. Just 1 player lost. I'll be absolutely happy with that.
Izza had a phenomenal performance a couple of days ago. Looking to keep that streak going. And keep being a key piece for the team. Already at a 1-round lead here. Winning that anti-force. Well, I suppose they forced themselves, so it wasn't really much of an anti-force, but winning on round 2, really, really important one. Now, you know, they can kind of extend a lot of that bonus, so the reinvestment doesn't have to be that heavy, so they can just keep kind of building up cash. And for MIBR, there was a bit of spend into that previous one, so into this, they've got literally nothing, and it's just a freaking firing gallery for FURIA in mid. Wow. I mean, MIBR just didn't stand a chance in that one.
M4A4 enjoyer. Thumbs up from me. Always preferred that one.
Always?
You M4A4 or silence for you?
Always silence.
No, I just love the I think my motor memory is just forever M4A4, so I just can't shoot better with the other one.
I can't shoot well with any of them, so I
yeah,
can't
me too. It's just the lesser of 2 evils. The AKs are out for MIBR in round 5. 4 remaining as Kiza is dropped very early by Car. Like to see a strong performance from the sniper. 4 on 4 then. Luli Tens has been dropped. Plenty of time for MIBR. Don't need to get too excited. No need to go off to the races with the entry frag. Stretch the CT's a bit thinner, looking for more advantage. And Danny's definitely ready. She is expectant of these peaks. CT's trying to make a play, trying to take the game away from MIBR, and she has punished them for doing so.
Car's in a really good spot to hold the line there, but I love how MIBR are playing this so slowly, poking and prodding the map. Unfortunately, that's not a great way for Lexi to go down.
Yeah, that timing could have favored either one. They were trying to hold on to the utility for as long as possible. Anyway, bomb's been planted on the other side of the map. Now we are in retake territory. Oh, that's a good flash, but she scopes in and doesn't see Gabby in time. Just scoped in there. If she delayed that just a second, then who knows if the quick scope might have been there. That will have a part to play in the round being taken. Homicide face turning up now. 5 frags for Gabby. Performing early for MIBR. And again, she was important in that big series they had versus FURIA recently. And I would imagine she will be just as important today as well.
Yeah, this was a bit of an unfortunate one for FURIA. But again, I really enjoyed the way that MIBR played there, right? They contact up quite slowly, take a little bit of space. And while Lexi does go down over in mid, it's a little bit of a distraction to allow the rest of the team to make their way in onto the bomb site. And, you know, as we saw, right, Car trying to hold that solo, scopes in, doesn't spot the person just to her left, and it all just goes crumbling down.
First 2 frags for Danny in this series in that round prior. And you can see how important they were. She did demonstrate some really good pacing as well, especially with that second one. Looking for that response from the CTs and punishing them for doing so. And it is possible to condition CTs to try and avoid doing that. And, you know, having a poor economy will have a part to play in that as well. But for now, they will be going for some aggressive plays. Blue Tens could be in some trouble here. There are some horrible angles for the T side, but they will win that duel. And you can see there's a double HG from Car. Talk about a response. Maybe the damage was enough. That is a godsend for FURIA. puts them in a 4v2 situation and cripples the round for MIBR. What a time for a double HE. That's beautiful. Now she's got such a strong angle onto Gabi, trying to bait the shot. That leaves Babs in a horrible situation. No one's really secured the economy just yet. And now all the CTs know exactly where she is. That's some fresh information. Carrying the bomb as well. That net is closing. She's probably going to die on her sword now. Indeed, she will. Upgrades for the CTs. 4-2. Good scoreline for FURIA so far.
Yeah, I'm going to be feeling confident with that one. I will say in my head canon, so Lulitens, she like fires through, she peppers them down, and she's busy yelling, "They're lit, they're lit, they're lit!" And then the HE comes through. Although to be fair, Carl was sandbagged, so she did actually watch it happening in 4K. But it was beautiful, like teamwork there, great synergy, great timing as well. The fact that it gets them 2 very easy opening kills. They're gonna be very, very happy with that. But for MIBR, right, like, they have to keep kind of buying in whenever they can. So the economy is just constantly a mess. They're suffering so heavily from all of this util damage, early chip damage. I mean, already now, yes, it's a pistol round, but within the first couple of seconds, they're already player down. Like, they're just struggling to find any sort of a footing.
The lack of bomb plants in that round was the difference maker, I think, maybe in the purchase here. Very limited what they could offer. And again, it's just about... I think a bomb plant in a round such as this would be a lot. I think ultimately they're trying to keep the CTs spending some money, and there is one way to do it. That's $6,000 on the floor, and that is 12. So in a round such as this, maybe this is enough damage. I think 3 frags would be fantastic, and then that does open a door towards a potential bomb plant. But ultimately, I think in a round like this, if you get 2 frags, I think you're probably happy. We'll see if there's any more left in this one, as Gabi has spotted CT. I don't know if she was spotted as well, but she still has some time to move around. And if she was spotted on one side, she might catch someone in rotation on the other. But I'm sure the CTs will be focused on denying a bomb plant here. And again, with 2 players lost, like, their money is crap at the moment as well. There has been a war of attrition. While they will pull away in terms of score, they're not pulling away in terms of money, so they don't really want to lose anymore. And that was a scary one to watch if you're a FURIA fan. Gabi coming charging, but it will just be the 2 frags for MIBR.
I think getting 2 there is great. I think if there was a world in which she was able to snatch one of those guns and carry that through, that would have been like kind of ideal end to that round, just with the way that it had gone. Unfortunately, not to be the case, and unfortunately, she does lose her life at the end as well. So there's that extra little bit of cash in FURIA's back pocket. Not that they're really concerned at this point, right? Yes, 2 players down. Yes, there's a reinvest, but they've still got quite a bit of cash that they're able to balance and float on through. They know that MIBR are still going to be struggling a little bit here. They know that winning this round is going to once again put MIBR onto a very, very wonky buy. And you can see, like, they... Go on.
Look at these nades. Like, at this point, if they had the bomb plant, then they could have they would be better equipped to do a proper execute. But yeah, how difficult it is to plant the bomb in a round like that leaves FURIA at the advantage at this point as well, where they have 2 flashbangs if they want to try and get on a bomb site. I mean, the mollies will help them as well, but like, if they want to do chain flashes, they've got 1 attempt and that's it. And that has to work for them. And Gabi's holding both of them at present. They've got some good angles here on this B bomb site though, and they are harassing. And it's hard for a CT team to try and hold on to their util. But talk about timing. Babs goes down for free. Great work so far by FURIA, but the job's not done just yet. There are 2 smokes and the flash, and they start to come in, playing that numbers game. Starting to trade now, and that's the consecutive frag they needed. Forcing the CTs back, thinning the numbers. They've got to get that bomb plant though. Look at these expectant grenades, this ordnance coming into this bomb site. Running low on the bullets, running low on health as Lexi is dropped. But look at these frags come through. Car in a 1v2, but they've got to get that bomb planted. Look at the util is great from FURIA. But we'll focus on the kills. Car somehow gets through that angle. Down to 18 HP, but just quicker on that trigger finger. Where it counts at least. Avoided getting headshots somehow, but can she find Gabi? Not on this occasion. That is a difficult round to win for MIBR, but one they have managed to force their way through.
That's another great round from Lexi as well, right? Those 2 opening frags does so much. And yes, She does eventually get traded out, but she's done a lot to get them in. And I was a little concerned because that first flash comes out, and straight after that flash, immediately MIBR lose a player. They only have one flash left, and I thought at that point it was just gonna like fall apart and crumble. And somehow they actually do manage to keep it together despite the lack of utility. Car, you can't keep doing this. She's playing so dynamic. She'll peek any angle you give her. She's already got an opening frag. The respect is minimal.
That quick scope in the last round was nasty on that replay. She is absolutely ready for this. And teammates with MP9s and French guns, she might be able to pick up the slack here. It's a very difficult angle to challenge, and she keeps moving as well. She can try and isolate the fights. Battle sniper, but on this occasion, Babs is ready for her. And now, this is where MIBR can really make a comeback in this half. If they can crush the CTs completely, Lily10 looks like she's going to go for it. Is Babs going to be ready for her? No! She gets 2 as well! She's completely turned this around. Danny with 6 HP. I can't believe that worked. That is such a brazen play. They had to find something. Walking through the smoke and taking 1, but not just 1, but 2. With the FAMAS as well. Leaving the last player with less than 10 HP. That was the time for MIBR to come back into this one, and they just got broken physically and mentally.
Yeah, for real. The brazen is the word. The confidence to just like walk through that smoke, push through, hope to God you don't get shot, and still somehow walk away with 2 kills and clutching out the entire round. Like, that's insane. I like what Gabs does there. So Car's the first one to get the opening frag, and then Gabs kind of boosts up to try and get a follow-up. And if she'd gotten that, it would have been a far more comfortable round for them. But thankfully, MIBR a little bit more quick on the ball on that one. We now find ourselves in a bit of a Tech 9 round. The rush seems imminent.
This is a lemming round. They are basically running off of a cliff. That's such a brutal round for them. I think, like, psychologically, never mind what's going on here, to lose that round in such a fashion as well. The smoke play, the transfer with a French gun. How often do you see that? Like, that's going to be difficult to get past, because again, that was the round where they break that CT economy, put them on eco, and take control of the half, maybe lead at halftime. Doesn't look like that's going to happen now.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about metaphorically running off of a cliff. They could have actually literally run off a cliff, but they weren't even given the space to get to the cliff. They just got absolutely peppered down, more specifically by the Molotovs. There was obviously a lot of other follow-up that went with it, but so much damage so early on. And again, Car going for this aggressive push. Surely they don't give her another opener.
They might not have a choice in it. Oh, Gabs going through the smoke. This is just disrespectful now. In a great way as well. It's not a criticism, of course. Give us a reason not to play like this is what FURIA are saying. And that is maximum FURIA. 4-on-3 as Car says, hello, here I am. Maybe you want to go to the other side of the map. And it seems they'll take that advice immediately. And who can blame them? 15 for 5 as Car, rarely missing with that AWP. She is in fine form today.
FURIA able to do this much on a map that they normally ban is terrifying if you're MIBR. Like, this is their map pick, and they can't find a way in.
I like that Lily10's disengages here. Look at the support on the way as well. Car repositioning. Now she can try and figure out which way angle to focus on. Great burst from Lily10's. Good for another multi-frag. Nerves of steel. Really nicely done by FURIA. And again, just the presence of mind as well. Like, you don't need to take every fight to the death. Disengaging is more important to stay alive and dictate where the fights take place. Have the support system come in. Car rotates over. Wonderful stuff by the CTs.
Great to see Car having a really good game. We saw some uncharacteristic misses from her the other day. So it's nice to see that she's kind of back on her form again. Oh, caught with util out, but Car backs away. That could have been, you know what? It doesn't matter. They still get the opener.
Yeah, just desperation play now, charging in, trying to find a way to get that last round in this half. 2v3 so far. You know, it's pretty reasonable. There's still a flash in the hands of Babs as well, if she can find a safe time to throw it. one thing to have the flash, but it's dangerous to pull it out in a situation such as this. We can see cars making lots of noise as well, trying to run distraction. While Bizina will be carefully, quietly making her rotation in. Complete miss from Babs, leaving Gabby in the clutch now. She'll know these FURIA plays, but there's not much you can do about them. And it will be a 9-3 scoreline, dominating for FURIA. Some narrow victories, but some important ones. They had the ice in their veins, and they've got the score to show it. A 9-3 half, and FURIA are firmly in the lead. Looking absolutely dominant so far. Scant bomb plants in that previous round, which means that MIBR were not able to build up any sort of real economy, and they couldn't get a foot in the door. Now that we've swapped sides, we'll see if fortune favors them this time around. Could be a worse scoreline as well, considering one of the rounds was the pistol round. Of course, they did get reset afterwards, and there were some narrow losses, but those narrow losses were due to the incentive of FURIA taking those risks and delivering on promises as well. There'll be a swing in mid as they look to wrap on this bomb site B. Now, Kiza and Lexi going down the stairs, so maybe trying to wait for their CT's teammates to get into position for a retake, but have a look at Gabs. Oh, this is going to be very interesting, but because she has got a lot of people coming her way, but they're all in front of her. And she can raise the alarm to her teammates as well, but she needs to play off of them because there are so many targets. Wow, look at this. Putty in their hands. It's like when a baby deer is born and the only thing around is a tiger, and it's like, Dada? It's like, yeah, I'm your daddy. And then it suddenly gets eaten alive at its leisure. I think that's what we just witnessed there.
Your mind amazes me. I don't know how you went there, but I'm honestly here for it. Quick update on our other game. Fluxo 10-2 at the half against Peak FE. That's happening over on one of our community streams. Fluxo, the other team that we expect to be heading off to LAN at the end of this season, and definitely showing no signs of slowing down at the moment.
Always good to see them on LAN. Lots of support as well. Always make the crowd a bit livelier when that squad's playing. But that was a luxurious pistol round. That's not a word I like to use, but I think it was very deserving because MIBR were thoroughly outplayed by FURIA in that one. Full credit to FURIA as well. They just played that in sublime fashion. And now it is target practice. They're at the shooting range, and it's all 10s for Lula 10s. No pun intended. 11-3. This could be a quick one. I just think they're way better prepared. I mean, even seeing, I mean, we'll see if that pistol round was just a specific pistol round thing. But if they're going to outplay their opponent like that for the remainder of this half, it's going to be a short half.
Yeah, I think the big concern here is obviously having so few rounds coming into this one, and
she's got skates on. Oh, Cast just got no respect whatsoever. I was saying during the break, she looks like she's been DMing for 3 hours. But again, when you're just that good, why wouldn't you? That should just be her tagline. Look at this. It is it's brutal. I don't know, man. You might want to cover your eyes at home. This is post-watershed type business we're seeing here. Pure violence from FURIA. I don't know what there is to do in this round for MIBR. All you could do is lose everything. They've got no util for a retake, save for one smoke. It's just about survival, and that's not going to be allowed, not by Lula 10s. Babs and Gabby remaining. They are the hunted. Wow. This is a statement game from FURIA. The sheer fashion in which these frags are coming in, the fashion, the speed, the confidence.
The disrespect.
Is wonderful.
It's all about the disrespect for me. Again, intended in a good way, right? Like it shows that, as you said, confidence. They're feeling themselves. They're not too concerned about whatever brick wall they may come up against. It's all about potential exits here. But let's face it, match and see, well, not serious point, but map point doesn't really make any sort of a difference now. MIBR, something magical is going to have to come out of the hat for this one. They have to, I don't know, channel David Blaine for this one, because there's this 9 rounds back to back that need to happen just to get us to overtime.
Channel David Blaine, stare at a camera like you are sedated. I don't know if that'll help you win, though.
I was going for the magic angle, but fair enough.
I thought they would have a worse buy, but the MP9s are great. You know, the close quarters, the swings, the fast fire rate. There's a lot that can be done here. They've got good level of utility as well, MIBR. So there is a world in which a comeback is attempted. FURIA, you will note, have held on to almost all of their utility. With the time on the clock, they're allowing MIBR to make a play. They're allowing them to exhaust their utility, maybe out of nervousness, maybe out of fear, because how could you not fear FURIA at this point? 12-3. This half has been devastating thus far. Now they'll start to get into position. There's a fast fire rate with the MP9. They'll work together to find 4 on the ramp. That is the response we needed from MIBR.
Great little bit of cash farmed up as well, which should stand them really well into the next round. And they haven't lost a single player. So there's a lot of like really good signs that came from this round. There's a lot that they can play off of and work off of into the next. But a lot of this round came down to playing that little bit more aggressive and also FURIA not playing aggressive. So they kind of changed things up a little bit. Now the question becomes, well, what's going to happen into the next round? Do MIBR again go for these slightly more advanced positions to try to catch them off guard? Are they going to play a little bit safer, wait to see if FURIA take the aggressive position again? There's a lot of possibilities, a lot of potential. But for MIBR, the big thing here is they finally get themselves around on the board. They've done a bit of damage into FURIA's economy. Not enough to make them sweat just yet, but it's progress.
Counter-terrorists win.
I think Gabs was trying to hunt for some frags towards the end of that round there. They have the money to buy in this round. She wasn't carrying the bomb, so it was difficult to bait them on that B-bomb site. They chose to disengage. This was great, though, and it's good that we see some glimpses. I think regardless of if they lose this map or not, MIBR need that success. Working together, defending that, just for the maps to come. Just to feel some success, to feel something working, even if it is in the odd round here or there. That stuff is important, just psychologically. But let's see what else they can do. They trail by 8. Sports psychologists would say 1 round at a time. Don't look at the bigger picture, just focus on the round in front of you. Searching around these smokes. These are creating space in mid. Ooh. Offering haircuts. Almost lining up for her. Danny takes some damage as well. Down to 14 HP. Lucky to survive that one. That's just not what they needed, is it? They lost Babs. Now they've lost Gabby, and Danny's holding on by a thread. Has Lily 10's done it? There are 2. Never mind. There aren't 2 anymore. It's just Danny with 14 HP. Wow. It's doable, though. She's got an AK. She needs headshots. That's for sure. I don't know where that grenade went, but it was information for the CTs. Does she read that as a rotation? 40 seconds on the clock. Danny has a kit. If this bomb is planted and the AWP is posted up, then it's going to be difficult. There is an incendiary in her hand. And that's going to be that then. 13-4. It will be a dominating scoreline for FURIA. A statement made on a map of Vertigo.
Yeah, I think... You know, we came into this and I thought, well, maybe this is like a bit of a, like an ego play or a power play, rather, from MIBR, you know.
This is so interesting. FURIA have got some pretty reasonable angles here. A nice, patient headshot by Car. And look at them dismantle these players. So it seems FURIA were trying to invite a desperate rotation, perhaps towards the B bomb site. And yet, when they make their play towards A, there are 3 FURIA players waiting for them. And that leaves Babs in a 1 versus 4. Start as you mean to go on, FURIA.
It's a pretty solid response or lack thereof from FURIA, because they take a little bit more of an aggressive push out towards A main. They don't really spot much of anything happening, but you can hear footsteps. I mean, MIBR weren't exactly being quiet about where they were going. So you hear that, you send one player, they're like, oh, the entire team is currently in our spawn. So the 3 FURIA players who were already taking a bit more of an aggressive angle towards A, they just kind of turn around. And as MIBR flood in onto the site, as you said, right, 3 players sitting in waiting. And I think that on a pistol round, that makes a lot of sense. You have a slightly heavier stack on one of your sites. And that way, you know, if the death ball comes towards you, you're better equipped. And if it doesn't come towards you, well, then you have stronger possibilities for a retake. Unfortunately, that bomb is completely denied there. It would have been great if Babs could have gotten that, but nope. No cash for MIBR at the end of that round is a rough way to kick things off.
I was just thinking, if she found a way to clutch that round, I would eat both my cats. Like that was
cats
just
or cats?
Cats. That was just so unwinnable. So just a horrible situation. 1 versus 4 with a Glock versus USPs. Just disastrous. Disastrous round for MIBR. These pistols, some of these pistols have been very strong indeed for FURIA. I think it'd be hard to beat that one on Vertigo there. But anyway, pistol has gone at least as far as FURIA are concerned. Oh dear, Gabs desperately trying to hold on. But it's not quite a pixel angle like you see in some places like Nuke. And now that's allowing the numbers to swarm. And I was thinking those numbers are getting cut down pretty quickly, but they find themselves 3 kills now. I mean, this is a Glock round, basically. Got a P250 in the hands of Kiza. 3 kills on a bomb plant is an overperformance, putting it mildly. That has set up MIBR for some great potential for the rounds to come. That turned out to be an awful round for FURIA. If they can survive the coming storm from MIBR, then there will be, you know, some lessons they get away with cheaply there. You know, you see, like, towards the B-bomb sites on Nuke, you'll see someone holding a pixel angle. They see someone cross, they throw the Molotov. Gabs was trying to do something similar, minus the pixel angle. They saw all the pixels there, and then she saw the floor.
Yeah, trying to escape from there was always going to be a difficult one. But I am glad to see. I was wondering if she was going to do it just before we hit the replays. But yes, Car has bought into the AWP. So it's an expensive reinvest across the board here. But we saw what she can do in that last map. She was outrageous. If she can do that again, this buy from MIBR means nothing.
Posted up on the B-bomb site at present is that AWP. A lot of presence being shown here by MIBR. And this might just be denial of information. It might be more. They've got the numbers, and look at this cleanup from Babs. Forcing the rotation from FURIA, which will be cut off by MIBR. 4 on 3. Now, at what point do FURIA cut their losses on this round? I think if Lulu Tens goes down here, if Danny swings and Lulu Tens goes down, that's the end of the round. But oh, she can see the shadow as well, so she's waiting for that peak to come through. But this could be a decisive duel as to what FURIA do. But maybe Danny never swings beyond this point as well, and this is just wasting the time if they're waiting for that engagement to come. But you look at the radar, you can see the remainder of the team are on the B-bomb site. So again, this is basically the line, and perhaps Lulutens with the FAMAS is the expandable player. She doesn't go for a ninja, surely. She doesn't go for a ninja. She's going for a ninja. Is there time for this? Is there time for this? Is there time for this?
No.
Gabby! Thank you. Oh my God. Brazen.
That would be my favorite ninja of all times. I would have loved it if that had worked, but nope, unfortunately not to be. I don't know that I love FURIA's like super aggression into mid there, because they instantly just lose their 2 players and the round is basically over at that point. I think that if you play that a little bit more passive, allow MIBR to run into you, set up a bit of a crossfire between those 2 players, maybe you get a little bit more done on that one. But ultimately, they do lose the round. So it is what it is.
The AWP is still standing. And if the AWP is still standing, a round can always be won. That much has been true for all of Counter-Strike. MIBR are utterly abusing this mid position. And I do wonder if they will play against this expectation later on, where maybe in future rounds they can put less people to use less people for this pressure to weaken things elsewhere. As you can see, mid has been abandoned on Anubis, which is a difficult thing to do. I think just nerves-wise, it's not like Mirage where you can just leave the T's there to kind of spend their time hold down connector. Everything's a lot closer on Anubis. This will feel very, very awkward indeed. And again, Lulutens will be holding a pixel angle with just the MP9. She'll try to fall back, but won't have the opportunity to do so. Danny, again, with those entries, was instrumental in what success we did see in the first map from MIBR. It's looking good for this one as well. Swing and a miss from Car. She's going to run into that HE and somehow still be standing with 7 HP. But does she get out of this situation, even with Bazina covering the angle for her? Seems she will. FURIA will retreat for now, but they will be hunted. Down to 3 HP now, but you can see the respect Car has. They lose the angle against her. They don't want to challenge. Someone has to, though. Who's going to pull the shortest straw?
Oh, Car. A few more of those uncharacteristic missed shots here. Definitely not what we expect from her. I love the way that MIBR ran that. They really do like this kind of mid push and run around and try and kind of get in behind. But the fact that they left Gabby kind of moving towards main to create a pincer. So they get that first kill in mid. They then push that. So Lulutens is like, oh man, the whole team is pushing. So her teammates are focused very heavily on the T spawn. And that gives the opportunity for Gabby to potentially backstab. Not that she needed to, because the rest of her team just overrun the site, and all she needs to do is play exits and try and, you know, make it as expensive as humanly possible for FURIA. This has been a great kind of resurgence from MIBR. It's 2 rounds that they desperately needed. They weren't able to deny the AWP from being saved, so there is that little bit of firepower into this round.
They made a mistake there. They killed the AWP carrier, but then allowed the last teammate to pick it up unprotected, and that is a mistake. Especially with what we saw from Car, especially because just in Counter-Strike, as I said before, I mean, from the days of Classic versus Pro and even prior, like a team with nothing but an AWP can win a round, especially on the CT side. And in the hands of Car, we saw what she can do, and different maps people will feel more comfortable on, and maybe different ranges as well. But this is not a situation that MIBR should have allowed. They fragged Car in the last round for a reason, and then just let them take the AWP straight back again.
Oh, there was no chance of retreat there. Spots the barrel of the gun, instantly traded out, and now that AWP is offline and it's just pistols. Yeah,
should be a standard round here in, should be, but they are losing a lot of players. Down to a 1v1. Headshot might have been enough there, but that was more people lost than they expected. So a bit messy, but they do have the stand-in, so give them a pinch of salt in that respect. But again, definitely something for the notepad to not give up the AWP for free again, especially after taking it away.
Yeah, to be fair, Lexi's actually been... Okay, she's been a bit quieter in the last couple of rounds, but she's had some really solid moments so far for the team. So even as the stand-in, it's great to see that she's able to kind of keep up pace with the rest of the team and really kind of prove her worth a little bit here.
Yeah, stand-in versus FURIA as well is, you know, a tall order.
Yeah. Making a big difference here. I don't know if I love the full exec. We'll see if it pays off.
Defensive smokes up as well. Kind of cutting the sights in half there. You can see Isa dancing around the smokes and mollies and cutting them to ribbons with Lula 10s. A good defense thus far. They've got the angles, leaving Babs as the last one to drop smokes around, frags around the smokes, through the smokes, and that was a great round for FURIA. They're standing at the end of the round with enough players. Quick defense, very confident stuff.
Yeah, so that kind of goes into what I was saying, because like MIBR have had a few really cool rounds where they've taken a lot of space. They do these like pincers. They've got like a backup, somebody that's pushing in from a different angle entirely that could potentially create a crossfire if necessary. And then they go in a full buy round and they just kind of full send it onto B with nothing really to try to create any sort of a buffer. And they're looking to replicate that again in this round.
Sometimes it's about a slight tweak, especially with the information served by the opponent. So often you'll run the same round with a little change here and find something that works. And ultimately, if you can keep them spending and break the economy eventually, that can be enough. But FURIA are defending, and there's no response just yet from MIBR. They've been given the bomb site, but they've got no frags to show for it. Don't feel confident in planting the bomb. As soon as Danny looks away as well, the peak comes through, and there are so many numbers now. Gabby in the clutch versus her old team. Too many girls on road. 3 survive at the end of the round for FURIA. And those are 2 confident defenses in a row with slightly different looks for FURIA. So maybe MIBR will feel less inclined to try that one again.
I feel like the reads from FURIA have also been really good. Like, there've been very few rounds where they get caught in an awkward rotation. They generally seem to just know where MIBR are going to be going and what they're going to be doing. And sure, there's a bit of poking and prodding around the map to get some early information, but their responses have been so quick, so decisive, and so on point. And that, again, just makes it really difficult for MIBR to find any sort of space.
I love a HE into a team, running into a HE, living vicariously through Gabs' utility. 4 kills for her so far. These rounds, I think when an individual's on point trying to defend against them, it's good pressure. Yes, she gets the ace. Someone will complain if I don't mention it. But again, those are like, it's like a pressure drill. but it's not training, although you can consider it training when you're against an eco with Tech 9s and so on. So it is high pressure, but nicely done. Again, the HE, you can see they're trying to overwhelm with the numbers, so they kind of have to eat that grenade damage, and it just makes the job easier afterwards. So well done, Gabs.
I mean, Tech 9 rushes are some of my favorite things in the world. And it was a pretty big round for Gabs herself because, like, she was trailing a little bit behind there. So, you know, they've allowed her to pad the stats a little bit. Always love to see that. 2-round deficit now, however. MIBR running out of time to turn things back in their favor. Need to start putting some rounds on the board.
This, even if they break ground on this Bob site, seems very hard to secure in the vacuum of this series. I do like that angle, especially with an AWP. Having a quick look, but there's no one in mid whatsoever. And of course, there's a timing that comes with that. You know, you have a window to leave it abandoned. You can see Bazina on the radar starting to rotate in that direction as time ticks. The likelihood of it being compromised rises. Car with a very strong angle, and she's basically playing the point person. She fires, her teammates start to peek now, and MIBR have to know they're running into a trap, although on this occasion, Car is alone, and maybe a lone Car is enough as she finds 3 and annihilates them on this bomb site. Car back to her best. 2 versus 4 now for MIBR, and look at that swing. Where do you even put your crosshair? There isn't enough time to decide before all the bodies hit the floor as the classic frag song goes. 6-3 for FURIA.
So the question
The bodies
becomes...
hit the floor.
Yes, I can only count to floor. Floor 4. Same. What do MIBR change, right? Like, it feels like they've tried a few different things. We've seen them with some pretty good splits. We've seen them, you know, try for some more aggressive pushes. I'd like to see them maybe just go for like a really bog standard default. It's not going to be this round, let's face it. But into the next, right? Kind of poke and prod the map a little bit, play for a pick or two, and then make a decision. I think that the problem is they're a little bit too antsy.
The problem is Car is everywhere. She's in a different position every map, and that's a big problem because at some point you're going to play your default and you're going to run into Car somewhere. And the painful thing about that is where it's like, surprise, here's Car, it's a 4v5. Or it's a 3v5. Because like she's playing the positions where either she has rifle support or she can dance and pick up a different position. So you have to run into her angle and you're probably going to get dropped. And that's a very difficult thing when you've got an AWPer with that power who can play wherever she wants around the map and the teammates will pick up the slack. And you have to figure it out the hard way. You know, on some maps or with some teams, the flashes can force a shot, give you the info. But where there isn't possible, if we go back 2 rounds to that position she had on B, it's a very dire position to deal with. And that's just, there's like, it's tough. It's a tough issue to solve. There we got an early 5v4 for MIBR and looking to capitalize on that again and trying to abuse their numbers as the T side often should. Chasing through the smokes, trying to find Izza, who's desperately trying to stay alive. And we've got team frags with the grenades just trying to take Izza out of contention, and she's still standing after all that, after all those bullets. And as she goes down, Car will come in to mean it's only Babs in a 1 versus 2. And Car is still there with that AWP, but there's the flash to take her off the angle. She's picked up the bomb now. She has half the info. Where is Gabs? She starts to wonder. Does she leg it over to the other side? I mean, the CTs would get there quicker. She's got 49 seconds. The running continues and Car's been allowed to reset. She's scoped in. This will probably be a free kill for her, as I'm sure she'll continue to round the position. Oh, swing and a miss. Now Babs can focus, but she still doesn't know where Gabs is. Still wondering as she starts to rotate now. Oh man, the pressure. And there's all the information. She knows exactly where both of them are. She knows how much time she has and where she could potentially go for a bomb plant. Now she can dance around this, try and land some headshots. The HE will reveal her position, and Gabs running with the Tech 9 will be enough. High pressure, but still the lion's share of the rounds are for FURIA.
Really feels like if that HE, it must have been a miscommunication of some description or just not realizing how low your teammate is, because they're obviously trying to get the player that's tucked in. And unfortunately, it misses her almost completely and takes out a teammate. And you have to wonder if that doesn't happen, if that doesn't connect, or if it doesn't get lobbed. Is that a 2v2? Is that a more winnable situation? Bomb got planted in that round. Maybe they can hold on to it. But the whys, the ifs, the buts, the wherefores, it all amounts to naught. We're in the last round of the half, yeah.
You got to give credit to Izza for that position. And look at the aggression now. They turn it up in the last round. Like, Izza changing position, dodging the Molotovs that were thrown at that, playing around the smokes, finding kills. She's made it such a desperate situation for them in those rounds to try and find her, to the point where they end up fragging each other, throwing ordnance, following it in. Just shows how strong the hold is on that bomb site. Maybe how strong the hold is on this map, on this series, as we are heading to a 9-3 scoreline for FURIA. Dominant on the first map. It continues in the second. They lead by 6 at halftime.
Feels like a bit of deja vu all over again. Another 9-3 half goes in favor of FURIA with a dominant CT side. And now they head on to their favored side. And it looks like it could be more of the same.
Fast-paced action, that is for sure. FURIA looking for double figures. Babs carrying double pistols, looking for some headshots as MIBR desperately try to even the numbers and then do better than that. Is a problem in the first half, looks to continue being a problem in the second. She's got 2 CTs coming her way, and she also has support from Car, who will take a bullet, as will almost everyone here in FURIA in quick succession. Gab's in the clutch now. 2 more to find. A good effort, but that is a much needed, urgent pistol round for MIBR.
It's a good recovery as well. It took quite a bit of early damage there, and it felt like, you know, FURIA were going to be in charge. They get that opening kill, and, you know, bomb planted. It's really feeling like, oh, here we go again. But as you said, very important one for MIBR to win. They're not able to deny that bomb plant, but at this point, the thing that really matters to them is rounds on the board. You know, you want to, you know, staunch that economy if you can, but more importantly, you want to make sure that you're actually getting that number that little bit higher. And they've still got quite a bit of cash to spend into this, so MP9s to potentially farm up. It's looking like we could get this a little bit closer than our last. Or maybe I'm counting my chickens.
There's good util for FURIA for rounds such as this. I'm almost disappointed by the lack of Tech 9s. There's no plural, just the one on Lula 10s and the Deagles for Karen and Gabs, which does suggest a slower round. Of course, when the Tech 9s have got util around them, then that is definitely a warning signal. We'll see what these Deagles can do. Nice to see Gabby smiling at the end of that round. Did I just curse her? Well, she did get a frag before getting instantly traded. That's going to be a can opener for FURIA, who are really threatening a potential split of the A bomb site. You can see the smoke through mid as well. The flashes are coming in, and Kiza will be on an island. She probably heard that utility, and she's so close to a free frag onto Gabs. Now, she needs to find a way to stay alive, because that can help with the retake later on. They might have to wait out the smoke in the meantime. Izza's been dropped, and Gabs will try to pick up the slack from that position, only with 7 HP. But if she's got the element of surprise, then who knows? Bomb planted. 3 players remaining for FURIA. Lexi's the one with full util, and the CTs are coming in from all directions. There's that lurk coming through from Gabs, but she will be denied leaving. Lula Tens is the last one to fall. 3 alive from MIBR. They'll collect an M4 from Lula Tens' body, I'm sure. And that will be them moving to 5.
That's a great retake. I mean, retakes can be pretty difficult on this site, so it's really well done from them. Obviously, they did have a little bit of an advantage, but either way. And I love the fact that FURIA go for that same kind of mid-play, circle around, get in towards the site, but because of how the positioning was already from MIBR, they kind of corral themselves a little bit, and they set themselves up to get Pinsett in onto, which is exactly what MIBR do. They use that that situation perfectly to their advantage, win the round, break the econ, come back with guns.
Look at this round. Here come the Tech 9s. They've got 2 flashes, which means the urgency is very high. They are eating grenades, though, but how many frags can Kiza get? She's got some support, but Gabby's been dropped as well. 3 remain for MIBR, 3 on 3. Position will mean a lot in this situation, but they've got to get this bomb planted fast. Still 2 players only with Glocks. Can they get a second rifle or primary weapon from this chaos? There's a lot of util in the hands of MIBR, but you really don't want to get caught with a grenade out. That 2K from Danny will really, really help. You've got to keep at least 3 players standing in these situations, especially when things are expensive. They do exactly that, and they keep taking steps forward. That bomb keeps getting planted. FURIA will have their full buy now, so the pressure will only rise. But they're surviving the test so far, MIBR. But they need to do more than survive. They need to thrive with these buy rounds to come.
For FURIA, I think they're more or less happy with how that round goes. Couple of kills, bomb down, happiness. Now into the next round, quite a lot of cash to work with. But yeah, like the pressure continues to mount for MIBR because there's that feeling of relief. Great, we're getting rounds, but you also know that now Car's likely got an AWP in her hands. There's a ton of util, a ton of money for FURIA to play with here. And MIBR can't afford to make a foot wrong.
I was like, oh my god, is she gonna dry peek? Of course not. Flash is there. But even with the flash, when it's AWP versus AWP, there's that timing where you get flash, you wait a tick, you fire your shot, and often you'll come away with the frag, even though you can't see anything. As I was saying, as she got fragged in a previous round, It's nice to see Gabby smiling, but you want to see that homicide face. You want to see that face that looks like she knows where the bodies are buried. You know, that's when she's fully focused and at her most lethal. Kiza doesn't quite get there, but Gabby's still standing with that AWP. But what does she do now? Does she have that battle sniper authority like Karda's on the other side? She's falling back to a different position, utterly blind and utterly dead now as well. 3 players remain for FURIA. Babs is committed to the bomb sites already, trying to buy time maybe for her teammates to rotate in. There's at least one more here. The bomb carry's been dropped, so maybe there's a chance for MIBR to survive this one as well. 3-on-2 suddenly as the urgency continues to rise, and Bazina has an angle now. There's a way where she can win this. The time is there. She just needs to isolate these fights. Close to dropping Lexi, but not quite to survive for MIBR, but they keep that run of rounds going.
MIBR make magic happen with those smokes. The way that they played around the cover and waited for FURIA to kind of show themselves to make a mistake. Because once you've passed the threshold as the tease, you've got to commit. There's literally nothing more that you can do at that point. So for MIBR, they play that really safe, really patient. They allow the smokes to kind of start to dissipate, and they take advantage of knowing that FURIA are stuck on the site with very little that they can actually use aside from just their weaponry. Beautifully done from them. It's another round. I mean, this is back-to-back-to-back rounds here, 4 in a row that FURIA have not managed to find a foot in yet. This is the best we've seen MIBR so far. Can they keep that momentum going? For FURIA now, obviously, it's not the best buy in the world, but it's still good. There's still a decent amount of util. They can easily get in onto a site with this, but how much more can they realistically get done?
No fear from Kiza. Is there a flash from her teammate, or is she just going for the dry peek, catching him off guard? She's able to fall back, sees the shadow as well, and A is able to disconnect entirely. Just keep going, get out of there. Drops some util as well. Nicely done. That was very, very scary indeed, but she came out with all the prizes from that one. An AK and a Galil then for what remains of FURIA. Bazina's been able to take some forward position in mid. There's no reason for MIBR to offer her anything for free. You can see Babs is holding an off angle towards A, but she's starting to get curious about this mid position, and that could be a mistake. She had the angle, and that was the risk that you could argue she didn't need to take. How costly will that be, though? As now Bazina is a threat to basically, there could be a split of the B bomb site here. There could be. There might not be. And there is the bomb carrier spotted now. That's a lot of information for those CTs. And it seems they might just clean up this mess, although Bazina's on the bomb site. So now we've got some CTs out of position. As Lexi is dropped, that bomb still needs to be collected. But this is so awkward for MIBR. And you have to wonder how much more will be lost here. Does she go for the peek, looking for some information? Did she spot anything there? They're lining up for her. Gabby down to 10 HP. And all of that because of that peek in mid, which you could argue was not necessarily necessary. Because, you know, if you let somebody get close, then it can be an awkward peek for you as well. But that timing just didn't work out, especially after such a daring peek here. Nicely done on a second frag from Keys, but that slow peek with the AWP comes with risks, and they almost lost the whole round because of it.
Yeah, I must admit, the re-peek out towards A main definitely left some question marks for me. I think if it works out, I mean, that's always the case, right? If it works, it's a great play. If it doesn't work, everybody's spamming question marks in the chat. So high risk, but unfortunately the reward just wasn't there. And it's another round that FURIA just don't manage to make anything happen on. Now, they had very little into that round, but they do keep it very expensive, keep it very close. And if they do somehow win out this round, they're in a good standing for the next.
Bazina, you mentioned her in the previous map. That was a big peek onto Gabby through the smoke in mid. And again, MIBR, if they get broken here, that might be curtains for them because their money is going to be in the bin. That is great, though. Grabbing 2. And now they've got the numbers to clean up the rest. This is turning out to be a very strong run for MIBR. We've seen a lot of good defenses from them, from both squads. But again, these rounds are fast moving. and often going in MIBR's favor, but 2v3 with a lot of focus from the CTs on that B bomb site might give FURIA some position. Of course, they'll have plenty of sound cues, and Car gets her bell rung as well as she crosses in mid. That will certainly help. Grenades flying into the site, just trying to buy time for that CT rotation, but they have to be careful. A HE and a Molly, they can find an angle to safely throw them. Could be very interesting indeed. Car makes her way onto the site. Danny's got the Molly. She might be able to throw it onto the site itself, but they've got a two-person setup here, so they may be going for the trade frags instead, which would absolutely make sense. Lula 10's in the clutch now. That's a fast one onto Lexi. Does she know that there are two together? There is Babs, but Babs is ready for her. They survive again. MIBR have tied the score on Anubis.
Danny's been a bit of a rock star. Like, the sheer number of multi-frags that she's been getting, and very often in these really like key situations where you kind of need to turn the tide back around. She's the player that really steps up and makes that magic happen. So another great round from her. 3 kills in that one just to keep themselves alive, keep themselves going that little bit longer. Another round that felt like FURIA really had the upper hand. But in the mid to late round, in that kind of post-plant setup, MIBR, their retakes have just been so clean and consistent round after round.
Oh my God.
What the hell is that?
That is a priority frag right there. And now Gabi has got a very challenging angle. She's so close to the wall there. Still gets an opportunity to wrestle another one off. She will be smoked out of position. The dry peaks of the AK there, very key frag, but now we can see Babs is defending from the site itself. Car waiting, Gabs lurking. 2v3 for FURIA. Gabby and Kiza need to work together. Who goes in first? If Gabby posts up behind her, what angle does she hold? Car still waiting patiently for them to rear their head as Gabs now tries to help her teammate, but she can't quite do it. Kiza low, peaking real low, down to the 1v1 now as Babs doesn't have a kit. She's got to find a kit on the side, otherwise she's done for. Gabs can see her shadow and tries to avoid, and she may have done it. The kit's on the other side of the bomb site. It's just around the corner. There's no time. She can save the orb, but she can't save the round. FURIA are off to the races again.
Finally, I mean, that was an explosive round to say the very least. The fact that there's just these two FURIA players who just appear out of nowhere, swing out into B main, get that first kill, and it goes very, very back and forth. And that makes it terrifying because at no point does it look like either one of these teams has a clear advantage with how they continue to fight and scuffle over that space. But once that bomb gets planted and it's down to that 1 versus 1, the heartbreak in knowing that you do not have a kit on you and to go and find one is going to take too long. That is a huge round for FURIA, but it's also a bit of a mental breaker for MIBR if they're not careful. It's also done a lot of damage to their economy, so this round becomes that much more important for them. Whereas they should have been feeling like they're on a bit of a hot streak, they're now feeling like they're on a knife's edge.
Well, huge fights towards the A bomb site. Babs still in position to defend. Gabby's being pulled over, which is stretching the CTs. Now Danny's going to go over towards mid and make sure there's no split coming. Limited utility left for FURIA. They may have got those sound cues in the water, knowing the position of one of those CTs, if they can do anything about it. Not sure who's boosted there. Oh, no, they're not boosted. They're next to each other. Lulu Tens is somewhere else with that Molotov. The dry peaks from Babs. That is nasty. Is she expecting Car here? I don't think she's making a sound cue, and she can just walk in. Car's going to get a free frag here. The game sense on this girl is wonderful, and that's the bomb site. Open sesame. You're not closing those doors, MIBR. They are completely out of position. Just didn't expect that second player. Rather than try and trade the frag, she allowed them a false sense of security, and thanks to that, they've got the whole bomb site. Now MIBR have to wait for the smoke to go. Lexi's in that smoke, but they're going to have to wait. Gabby with the AWP. 3 on 3. There's a kit, but only for Danny. You don't know where the CTs are coming from just yet. Azina looking elsewhere, and they're getting the frags. MIBR leaving Car in the clutch, but she won't get anything out of it either. That was a great effort from her, but MIBR will tie the score once more. They are not done with this series just yet.
Definitely a bit of a questionable post plant from FURIA there, but you can't put all of the weight on their post plant. I said it a few times, but MIBR's retakes have been exceptional. It really does feel like they can't put a foot wrong in these really high pressure moments as that bomb continues to tick down. And so long as it's not like a 1v1, I mean, even in 1v1s, they very often have a good standing. But, you know, when there's a few more numbers involved, even if it's evened out, they still somehow find a way to come out on top.
Here comes the charge then. It's trying to overwhelm, and they have got a reasonable chance of doing it. A team kill with the Tech 9 this time rather than the grenade, but the bomb plant will be secured, so it doesn't really matter ultimately. And now they can try and do some more damage. 3 players surviving. Carl's got an M4 as well. The CT's dancing around the smokes, but these angles are going to be so dangerous for them. Carl's got such a good angle, but gets denied by Babs. And Lulu 10's in the clutch now. Oh, it's so awkward with the AWP. Down to the pistol. The Tech 9's at the advantage now. Look at all those bullets just rattling away. It was almost guaranteed, and everybody is lost for it. A calamity towards the end of this game. FURIA take the lead 11-10, but look at what they've done to that CT economy.
And that was the big danger, right? After losing 1 round, they should have been feeling flushed still. But FURIA kept so many of these rounds so unbelievably close, and then you kind of reset that any sort of a loss streak bonus. You come back in, you win yet another round, and MIBR are flat on their faces, and FURIA are 1 round away from map and series point. Like, this could not be more terrifying for MIBR, given the streak that they went on and how close they've kept this, and now going for that aggressive play. I respect it, but now you're at a player disadvantage.
There are all kinds of disadvantage. I've got to say, when we saw that entry on the A bomb site from FURIA, the best thing about it was that it was Izza who got that entry. On the player playing the position she plays on the CT side, it was just so perfect. She was so hard to frag on that bomb site, and she just sent it in there and headshot the person playing that position, knowing how important that particular frag is on the bomb site. That was beautiful. That was a highlight of this half from a FURIA point of view for me. But I've got to credit MIBR for fighting for many of these rounds on the CT side. The question is, what are they going to have to fight with on the next round? It's not going to be easy. I mean, none of these rounds really have been, but this is going to be a very tough one indeed.
Just a quick update as well for our community stream, where Fluxo was busy playing versus Peak Me. They've won their second map. It was also a 13-3. So Fluxo will take that win 2-0, and they will continue their undefeated streak this season. I believe that puts them at 6-0. Just an outstanding performance, but I don't think we expected anything less from them. So well done there. And yeah, MIBR, man, this is not the position they wanted to be in after such a strong resurgence. A couple more rounds in the previous half and they would have, I mean, they might have won by now, right? They could have been laughing, but unfortunately that wasn't to be. A little bit of cash that they can still work with at least.
Yeah, this is a pretty solid buy for them, all things considered. After being broken, they had like their backs broken in that round, but seems they still found a way to walk, and maybe they can run as well. Gabby on the FAMAS on this occasion, ready for the first. She has overperformed with that second frag, and these like two-person, like sometimes the CTs, to be successful, if they're going to die, for example, sometimes they've got to get that second kill, otherwise their team are done for, and Gabby has certainly done that, and they'll go beyond that now in a 5-on-2. Again, they need these numbers up, even just for full util. If they have to rebuy a gun here or there, they can spread the wealth. None of them have defuse kits in this round, so all the things they're missing, maybe they can pick up next time. Not over yet, though. The money is interesting for FURIA. Don't think Car will want to lose this AWP, but she probably is expecting to have to find a few more frags. Oh, disposal service. So she's got 7k in the bank. She wants to keep them weak. Smart. Good presence of mind. So they know where it might be, but can't find it. 2 AKs is great, though, for MIBR as they head into round 24.
Anchors for MIBR have really put up some numbers. They've been doing a lot of work in so many of these rounds. And I mean, that round is absolutely no exception. Babs with some hyper aggression, getting the 2 of her own as well. Beautiful stuff. 1 round away from overtime. I can feel it in my bones. When was the last time these 2 teams went into overtime? I'm not even sure it's ever even happened. This would be a phenomenal feather in MIBR's cap.
Danny and Babs, the big fraggers for MIBR in this game of Anubis so far. A good spread of frags on FURIA. Vecina in the lead with 20 at the moment. But again, definitely a team effort. Not too far ahead of anyone. They will not want to miss an opportunity here, FURIA, to close it out in regulation. Heading towards that minute mark. Oh, that's wonderful stuff. The presence of mind from Izza. The continuation spray, completely blind. That is... It's a 3v4 now. It's a 2v4. The dream is collapsing for MIBR. Babs and Lexi, and now it's just down to Babs, and there will be too many players on the bomb site. FURIA will trade the frags, win the map, and win the series.
Oh man, I was so ready for overtime. I was like preparing myself for it. Got my tea ready, got my snacks, got my water. I was ready. But unfortunately, FURIA, they wanted to do it in 2.